Hello, Michael here with a video about the linear sequence, and we're going to answer the question, what is a sequence? And you'll find that it's just a list of numbers generated from a rule. So we're going to be looking at two things. First of all, finding the list from a rule. Secondly, finding a rule from a list. Okay, let's move on. So, what is a sequence? And as I said, it's just a list of numbers generated from a rule. And at GCSE, there are four types of sequence that you're going to meet. There's the linear, sometimes called arithmetic sequence, that this video is about. But you'll also meet geometric, quadratic and Fibonacci sequences. Okay, let's move on straight away. Now, if I want to generate a list from a rule, first of all, I write out the rule. So S1, that's sequence 1, follows the rule 2n minus 1. Now let's be clear what we mean here. We talk about the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and so on. It carries on. Now the first term is when n is equal to 1. So my first term here is 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 1, which is 1. My second term is when n is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3. The third term, 2 times 3 minus 1 is 5. And by now you can probably guess what the fourth term is. Let's just check it anyway. So I've got 2 times 4, 8, minus 1 is 7. And of course the terms go on and on, they don't stop anywhere. So you'll notice here we've got the set of odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and it carries on. Right, now let's have a look at another sequence here, so I'll call it sequence 2. This time the rule is negative 3 times n and then add 2. So my first term, n equals 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus 2 gives me negative 1. Right, my second term is negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6, plus 2, which gives me negative 4. My third term is negative 3 times 3, which is negative 9, plus 2, which is negative 7. And this time you notice the numbers are getting more negative. And you can probably guess what the next number is, but we'll check it anyway. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12, plus 2 equals negative 10. Now then, before we move on, I'd like you to notice something. The step in this first sequence is 2, isn't it? And you notice there, we've got 2. The step here is negative 3, isn't it? Do you notice? Negative 3. So this number tells me something about the step. Let's see how to use that on the next page. Right, this time we're going to generate the rule from a list. Okay, now there are two methods. So method 1, I've got 5, 8, 11, 14, and I notice that the step there is plus 3, plus 3, plus 3 every time. So I know that my sequence, I'm going to call it S4, is going to be 3n, because my step is 3, and that's what this number tells me. Now, in order to find out the constant term, I'm going to write my 3 times table above here. So 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12. And I asked myself, how do I get from 3 to 5? How do I get from 6 to 8? How do I get from 9 to 11? And of course the answer is I add 2. So that's the second part of my rule. Right, now let's have a look at method 2. I've still got a jump here. This time the jump is plus 2, isn't it? There we are, plus 2. So I know, let's call this S5, shall we? I know that my first term is going to be 2n. Now here's the clever thing. I'm going to start counting back in my sequence. 4, 2, 0, negative 2. My next number here is going to be negative 4. And that is what I'm calling the 0th term. And my sequence then is 2n, I get that from the step, minus 4. Now, both methods work. Let's just check on this sequence what happens if we look at the 0th term. Okay, going back by 3 every time. 14, 11, 8, 5. My 0th term is 5 minus 3, which is 2. Look, it works every single time. So you've got 2 methods of finding your sequence. You always have to find what we call the common difference, or the step. But finding the constant term here, you've got 2 ways of doing it. Okay, so now you know what a linear sequence is, just a list of numbers that follows a rule. You know how to find the list given the rule, and you know how to find the rule from a list, and you know 2 ways of doing it. Okay, I hope that was a good use of about 9 minutes of your time, and now what you need to do is go away and practice until you can do these questions in a heartbeat. Okay, Michael signing off now. Bye.